you've survived a stroke and you came back fully from it. You've already battled it for like 7 months. Like, what can you not do? And she was like agreeing with me and stuff. And she was like, I really want to tell you, but I was waiting till you were home. I think when I was talking to her, like, I could hear kind of like just the fear of like the unknown and like how she was scared maybe. Yeah. That doesn't take away that she didn't do everything with a smile, but she definitely, I could feel the fear.
Welcome to A Place of Yes, a podcast about how I moved through my darkest hour. And for me, that was in channeling my grief into good. Welcome to the show. Today's episode is, in many ways, the final chapter of a story that began back in season 1 of A Place of Yes. I first spoke with Olivia Allen just months after the loss of her daughter, Olivia. Liv's cancer appeared suddenly during the spring of her senior year, and she fought with everything she had. Chemo, radiation, even recovering from a stroke. She did it all with a smile. When she passed, she left a void for so many of us. This season, Melissa returned, this time joined by Liv's sister, Sophia, and Liv's best friend, Aubrey, for our first A Place of Yes roundtable. We later sat down one-on-one with Sophia for a deep dive into sibling loss and the ripple effects it has on the whole family. Today, we go deep with Aubrey. Best friends for as long as they could remember, Liv and Aubrey had big plans. Starting their own law firm, raising families next door to each other. You never saw one without the other. So we're talking about what it's really like to lose your best friend. The grief, the anger, the fear, the whole mix of emotions. And we're having this conversation right around the 2-year mark since Liv's diagnosis. The milestone that forever reshaped Aubrey's memories of senior year and the summer before college. Let's get into it. So I am really happy to be here today with Aubrey Ide. And last time she was here, she was with Melissa and Sophia Allen. So Aubrey, I'm so happy to have you here for like a one-to-one. We're going to focus on you today. We're going to talk about all the things. Well, first, let me start. Welcome home. How was your sophomore year at Lehigh?
It was great. Great year. Lots of fun. I definitely enjoyed this year more than freshman year. The freshman year, yeah, it's great. It's fun, new place, but sophomore year was a lot better. I
think Ethan felt that same way too. It's like you find your like people, right? Like you find your group of friends, you figure out your space in it all, right?
Yeah. You have like an actual routine. You're not like figuring out what your schedule is.
You mentioned this, and this really stuck with me in our last conversation. Like I've thought about it a lot. You talked about how the summer before freshman year, after senior year, how when you got to college last year, your freshman year, like everybody you were meeting was like talking about the fun times they had. And for you, it sucked. Like it just was. And I've thought about that a lot because obviously I'm significantly older than you. But I think back at that time, right? Because it is a pivotal point in everyone's life. That summer before you go to college or the summer after you graduate. Like if you don't go to college, it's still like it's just a big transition year. And to have something so altering happen, I've tried to put myself in your shoes and I can't. And how do you feel about that now? Has time made that feel different, or do you still look back on that and it just sucks?
I look back in it and I still feel the same way, but in a way I can't change anything that happened. And I now kind of can look back and be like, at least I had that time. Like at least she still was here. Yeah, the circumstances were different. Going to grad parties, just going places over the summer, like the Costa Rica trip with all our friends, like how she wasn't there. It's just never the same without like your one person that like gets you. I still was able to visit her. I still went to the hospital. She was home sometimes. We did have pool parties in her backyard.
What was that like?
It was different. I mean, with a big group of people, like more than 10, we obviously had to only be outside.
Because you had to protect her, like immunity.
Like from germs. And it was the beginning. Melissa, Chuck, they didn't know anything. My mom, like, they didn't know anything. They're like, you just have to be safe. Like, you really, like, can't share anything. You have to stay outside. It was just different. And it felt, like, almost awkward at first just because, like, we're so used to being on top of each other. Like, we're just friends. Like, that's what it was like.
I've thought about that too. So I'd love, like, let's go there a little bit. Did it get awkward between you guys? Like, to set the stage for the audience that hasn't listened to our other parts, although they should.
Yes.
Liv was the spring of senior year not feeling well, sleeping more. And I remember you even talked about where was it? At the party
prom
after
party.
fell asleep.
Yeah.
Asleep on the couch, not typical Liv behavior.
I was Olivia, what are you doing?
What's happening here?
Yeah.
So lo and behold, she gets diagnosed with leukemia. What is that like for you guys?
I mean, it was very unheard of and unknown just for our friend group and in general our school. It was very unheard of and unknown for us. And we had a close Coach Roberts, pass away from breast cancer. And both Olivia and I were very involved in her life and someone we also looked up to. But when she got diagnosed, there was I Googled a lot. My mom told me no Googling. I'm sure Olivia
Impossible
Googled.
not to.
Yeah, impossible not to. And I think I had a lot of hope. And I mean, I had hope there the whole time. Like Liv says, hope is the only thing stronger than fear. But I saw the good in that there's a lot of research. Hopefully she'll be okay. We'll all be there for her. But a lot of my uncertainty was just what was to come. What would it be like? Was she in the hospital every day? Was she going to be at home with us? Could we even hang out with her?
Such normal questions, right?
Yeah.
And just your mind almost can't think of anything else but
the what ifs.
Yeah. And at that time in your life when it's such a wild time, you know what I mean? Because it's sort of everything you've known is changing for the good, right?
Yeah.
Because it's exciting, but it's also scary. And then I think just having this, when she was at parties and not going out as much, I'm assuming you would get frustrated with her.
I was just so we would go to my house, we'd extended lunch. Every time we go to my house, we'd watch a movie every time because she was tired. And I was fine with that, but I just didn't understand. We would go and just do normal things too, just go out, want to just go work out to the Y. But she was too tired, or go for a run, or play field hockey, just hit the ball around. And it wasn't I was frustrated, but I was just so confused because it wasn't who she was. I was more I think concerned, but I didn't think anything more of it than maybe she has depression, because you always think people are tired when you're depressed.
Yep.
But I was she's just not.
And then you find out that it's this. It's so crazy.
Mm-hmm.
How do you think she felt? So you're getting ready,
Yeah.
you're starting this new chapter, as is the entire friend group, as is the entire class for the most part.
Yeah.
And I feel she was one of the first, in those to post where they were going. Was she going to go to Penn State
She's gonna go to
first?
Penn State
yeah.
first, yeah.
She posted she's going to Penn State, then she's going to Florida. So she was so in on all these things.
Mm-hmm.
What was it like doing that without her?
It was just upsetting, and I think I had a little bit of not survivor's guilt, she's so alive, but guilt that I get to go on and do all these fun things when she's the only person in our grade that doesn't get to experience something to that extent. When I had fun, when I met new friends, when I had all these new opportunities, in a way I felt terrible telling her because she can't relate. She's in the hospital, she can't relate to those things. And I think I'm really fortunate that she was able to visit me the amount of times that she did. And she came
How many
to my
times she
formal,
come?
4 or so.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's
And,
awesome.
she came to my formal for one of them. So that was the experience that she got. And I'm so happy she got that. But even just now, when I'm at school, I just think about, wow, she never got to really experience this.
So when she came to visit you, was she healthy enough at those times? Did you guys go out? Did you do she got
Yeah, she went to fully our formal, all the way out, 2 a.m.
That's awesome. Yeah. So she had some college moments.
Yeah.
When she was visiting you, were you able to just totally relax and have fun with her? And did it feel like your best friend, or did it feel different?
Honestly, it felt totally fine and comfortable. I think because just of how close we were. I was trying to obviously make sure she was having fun. That was my highest priority. But it felt just any other day with her. Yeah, we had fun.
That's awesome that you got that. Yes and no, you should have so much more, know. So, but the fact that you could have some of those moments and those memories. When you think of Liv now, what do you think about?
Kind of everything. Yes, it's hard not to think about the last year and a half because that was such a pivotal time in everyone's life and her life. But when I do try to think, when I think of the cancer, I think of how she fought the cancer, the positive attitude, the fighting with a smile, the helping other kids. And then when I think of old past memories, they're just random little ones. I was driving to their house 2 days ago. I turned this corner that's really sharp. I thought of Olivia, and I literally looked at my passenger seat, and I was like, oh my God, wait, Olivia's not here. Because there's this one time where we were literally on like 2 wheels because I didn't know that turn was that sharp. So yeah, I think the past memories are just all the little ones and like things that just come up when you're doing stuff.
They're the hard ones, right? Like those, and I know what you mean in those moments where you like turn, like it's like you forget for a minute.
Yeah.
Do you talk to her?
Like, yeah. Sometimes I talk to her, but I more like text her. Like,
do you still text her phone?
I still Snapchat her. She's still pinned on my Snapchat, like the top of the Snapchat list. I Snapchat her. Yeah.
I sort of love that. Like, I think that's really cool. Does it make you feel better? Does it make you feel connected, or does it sometimes, or both? Like,
yeah, no, I think it makes me, the texting more is usually makes me feel a little bit more upset because like I just can see like it's just text and
that
text
there's no
with no response. The Snapchat's more like fun. Like I kind of like keep her updated when I'm doing.
So it's more like a happy update.
Yeah.
Like it's like a.
Or like when the 1 year ago or like 3 years ago photos come up with us, I'll send it. And then I just like save it so I can like go back and look at them.
Pictures are really hard, like because they capture this moment. And you never know in those moments that they're going to be your last, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like some of those photos you do, but like, you know, you just don't. Like, so they take you back to such a different time. And they can be wonderful if you're in the right headspace. They can also be like devastating.
Yeah, it depends for sure. Yeah. I was looking at photos, just looking, not for any particular reason. And I was just like there's just a time in my camera roll where there's just no more photos. And I was just like, I don't get it. A year has gone by and there's just no more, I will never have another photo with her. And I think that's just like crazy to me because we were only in high school. Like we still had at least being home in the same town, like 4 more years. Yeah. I kind of like grief that I will never have another picture.
It's a hard thing to wrap your head around.
Yeah.
You know, I think about the people that I was closest to in high school. And one of them is still like my dearest friend. Like, so it's just those people who have known you just like the good, the bad, the ugly, the ups, the downs, like inside and out. And like the person who you don't even sometimes have to use words for and you're communicating. That was Liv to you.
Yeah.
During this time, did she tell you she was scared? Did she open up to you? Like, did you have those conversations?
Certain things she was super open about. Like when she first got diagnosed with cancer, it was, I knew, our close friends knew, then the whole school knew, then extended people knew, like other towns knew. I think we talked about this a little bit, but that was super helpful, I think, for other people because they didn't have to tell people. It helped give comfort to people, like knowing her battle, and like it opened up, and even for me. So she kept me a lot very up to date about when her chemo was, what her like program was. And a part of it, like she allowed me to go with her sometimes. I had those hospital sleepovers. And then when things weren't going well, like when she had her stroke, obviously the communication kind of went down a little bit. It was more like Melissa calling me or my mom telling me. And then when her cancer mutated from ALL to AML, I was sitting in my professor's political science office hours getting help for our exam. I like randomly go on the GoFundMe because the kid next to me who knew me was asking like, oh, how's your friend? And I just like, I don't know why, something compelled me to go on to it. And I looked and I saw there was an update. And I'm like, what update? Like, I thought I knew everything. I read it and it talked about how it mutated to AML. I started tearing up and I left and I called my mom at first because I didn't want to bother Olivia. And my mom was like, told me everything. And she was like, Olivia was waiting till you were home because I was coming home that weekend. So I text Olivia that afternoon and I'm like, kind of like saying that like, I'm sorry, but this is just this is another thing. Like, you survived a stroke and you came back fully from it. You've already battled it for like 7 months. Like, what can you not do? And she was like agreeing with me and stuff. And she was like, I really want to tell you, but I was waiting till you were home. I think when I was talking to her, like I could hear kind of like just the fear of like the unknown and like how she was scared maybe. Yeah. That doesn't take away that she didn't do everything with a smile, but she definitely, I could feel the fear.
Because she's human, right? Like, and I mean, I honestly, of course she was scared, right? Like, do you think that she felt pressure from herself almost? Like, because I mean, her whole like fight with a smile.
Yeah.
You know, all of that.
I think it was like, if I'm not positive and if I let my guard down a little bit, then I'm just going to fall into a hole. And I feel that way about some things in life too. Yeah. Like the moment that you let your guard down about something, it's like down, down, down.
Yeah.
Maybe like her way of putting on a positive attitude was just like convincing. And like, yes, she believed it, but like telling yourself like, oh, I got this.
So when you could tell in her voice that she was scared, like, did you say anything, or did you did you tiptoe around it? Like, and I don't know what I would do. Like, it's an impossible conversation at an impossible age, you know?
Yeah. I kind of more just focused like the positive, you know, like you've done this before, or just like little things like trying to call her, FaceTime her. I didn't really get into her and like what she felt because I let her like
dictate that.
Yeah. I didn't want her to feel like forced.
Of course. So for you, like you're getting this huge news, unexpected. You think you're up to date on everything. Like, were you mad? Were you scared? Were you sad? Were you all of the above? Like, what did you do with that information after you talked to like Liv?
Well, at first I was a little mad. I was like, why did no one tell me this? Like, this is huge news. I'm the only person that doesn't know this.
Well, especially if it's on GoFundMe. You're like, then anybody who's reading this is learning.
Yeah. And it was literally from like that day. And then when I began to talk to her, I remember still being very hopeful and I didn't understand. But then when she was like kind of telling me like, this is like what happened, or was like 1 in like 6,000 numbers. I don't know. Like,
yeah.
Like super
very rare.
I was like, wow. I was very shocked because it was going well.
Because that was the time, right, that they were hoping that she could get like the bone marrow transplant, right?
Yeah. That was another thing. Like when she went to get her bone marrow transplant, that was the first time she kind of like let me in on like her disappointment because she was like, I'll be away. Like I'll be in Rochester, wherever she was going to end up for like 4 months. Like I'm not going to see anybody. Like I'm going to be out there with only like my mom. And like that was the first time I could really get a sense of her like disappointment. Like, no, she doesn't want to be 5 hours away from home.
Yeah. And missing like the little connection to people that she had.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And like she made friends with the people on her floor. Like those were her people. Like getting adjusted to a whole new hospital and the whole new nurses. Yeah. Like her nurses were her people.
Even all this time that's passed, right? It's hard to even, and again, me like such an outsider to the story, but it's so hard to even imagine that this is the way that it played out.
And I like sometimes I wish I like really knew like after she had that stroke and the type of chemo that would have been like the most beneficial and like usually has the best, I don't know, success for children. Like that's when I thought like, yeah, she had a stroke, super rare. There's so many things out there. But like I didn't know like that was the first like really like, oh shit, like that's not
like a pivotal moment. Yeah.
My whole time I was just so like I couldn't see that. And even like other things like her being on the older side of having cancer. I'm sure like Melissa and my mom, like I've talked to my mom a little bit about it. She's like those are huge things that affect it. And I didn't know that. But I don't know if I wish I knew. Like if my mom told me that, because no one knew what was going to happen.
You learn from these experiences. You don't have this information before.
Yeah.
So back to that, like you're in this poli-sci teacher. When you learn that news, do you have friends there that at that point you felt like you had a network? Like do you have people you went to and what did you do with that information?
It was so great. Olivia got to come visit me because my friends knew her.
She was a real person.
She was like a person. You could put a name to her face. Like they actually had like a very good connection with her.
That's awesome.
My friends loved her. I think that was so helpful for me because they've never been through their friend having cancer. No one in their high school had cancer. Yeah. Like we've talked about it. Being able to make a connection with her like helped me when I was like struggling because they kind of like could lean into like a little bit of how I was feeling. Yeah. And yeah, I remember the day like I went into their room, their triple room, and we all just like talked.
I guess I didn't realize that she was able to go down 4 times. Like what a gift, right? Mm-hmm. Like you said, it's a real concrete person that you are grieving. It's not this idea. It's like a real person. So they probably felt really touched and impacted by it as well.
Definitely.
You came home, right? So when was that? When did that happen? Like
literally like a week before I came home.
And then you came home. That's like around the time that she passed, right?
So then it was a Friday. My mom comes like, no, you should really come home. Like you really, really have to come home.
And did you kind of read between the lines?
I read between the lines. Like, I understood what was happening. Not to the fullest extent, but I understood she was extremely sick. Yeah. I Ubered home. Because
I remember that.
No one could come to get me.
So just like, from Pencil, what is that, like 6 hours?
Like 4.
4, okay.
Yeah.
Still significant, yeah.
Still significant. Like my mom was already at the hospital with Melissa.
Okay.
And I Ubered straight to the hospital.
What was that ride like? Were you a mess?
Yeah, I I remember I was with my friends right before I left. I was in their room, and I was just crying and crying. And then I got in the car, and I was like, this Uber driver, who even picks up a 4-hour ride?
Well, I was just going to, I was like, that's just something too.
Yeah. And he just had no idea what I was thinking in the back seat or where I was going. I fell asleep for majority of the ride, which definitely wasn't safe.
So you're coming home. Your mom's like, you got to get here.
Mm-hmm.
You're reading between the lines. You're like, this isn't good. But you still weren't thinking that this was
The end.
the end.
Yeah.
You're just thinking this is another bump in the road.
Another bump in the road. Got to the hospital. I saw her. I've never seen that before. Like, I've never seen someone in that condition. Like, when I saw her, she was throwing up blood. Like, she had bruises all over her. Her face just looked so different. And that's when I realized what was happening.
Like as soon as you saw her.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I didn't really have to ask my mom. I don't think I did. I just knew. Seeing her like that, I think, was the hardest part. I understood she was going to pass away, but she didn't pass away yet. And I couldn't comprehend that. Like, that's not, like, we've lived 18 years. Like, what do you mean she's going to pass away? Like, that wasn't really a thought. It was just seeing her like that was the hardest part, because I was so used to tan skin, beautiful Olivia. Even when she had cancer, still beautiful. But, like, she just did not look anything like herself. And I was just so hurt, I think, watching her suffer.
Could she, she knew you were there?
Yeah, she knew I was there.
So what was that time frame? Was that days?
That was a week before
okay.
she passed. So I went home, like, the weekend before. Or I went to visit her the weekend before she passed. I was there, and then it was just Sophia and I, because Sophia and I had the sleepover. I think we talked about it a little bit, and Sophia didn't understand.
Yeah, she didn't see it coming.
Yeah. And then the next day, like, Allie, Emma, Riley Height, like, a bunch of people came. I remember telling people, and they were just like they asked the question back. Like, wait, she's going to die? And I was like, yeah.
How'd you wrap your head around that? Like
she's like who you want to go to when something like terrible is happening to you. But what is happening to her is like, I can't go talk to her. Like, she's not there. It was difficult to wrap my head around it. Even like the first full month, 2 months still didn't feel real.
Like after.
Yeah.
You segued that perfectly, because I honestly was going to say, like, what were those first days after? Like,
I went to class. Like,
you stayed until she passed, or did you? Because
I went home Sunday or Monday, something like that. Honestly, like, part of it I forget. Because
it's a blur, 100%.
I went back to school, and it was any day. Like, the word was any day she's going to pass. Olivia doesn't give up. She did not pass any day. It was like a week. And
till the end, yeah.
Every single night, I woke up every hour on the hour, like,
checking your phone.
Checking my phone, looking for my mom's texts, like, always looking. The night she did pass, I slept perfectly fine until my mom called me, which is really weird.
So I have theories about that, and mostly just because I spent so much time talking about, like, grief and death and like abnormal, like, amount of time thinking about it. Mm-hmm. I feel like that was her, right? Yeah. Like, that was her
like
being
she's giving me comfort.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Like, she's like, it's time. I think that you should feel like that's really beautiful.
Yeah.
Because I think that that is her way of being like, you've been my, like, ride or die for this whole time. And, like, you're going to need strength in the next few days. So take it now.
Yeah.
She gave you a good night's sleep.
Definitely. Even the day she passed, I went to practice.
Did you?
And everyone's like, what the fuck, Aubrey? Like,
why are you here?
Why are you here? Like, I knew people were whispering about me in line. Like, you know what I'm saying? But I was just like, nothing changed for me then. Like, I just couldn't understand it.
And it's also like, what are you going to do? Like, that's the whole grief thing, right? Mm-hmm. Like, people expect you to be a certain way at a certain time. And the thing with grief is
you just don't know.
You don't know. And if you haven't even able to fully process it, how can you, like, what are you going to do? You're just going to sit there and not go to practice? You might as well go to practice.
Yeah.
It's not like you just sit there and be like, okay, I'm processing my grief now, right? Like, it's not like I'm studying for a test. Yeah.
Like a book.
Yeah. Like, so you just have to, like, sometimes do what you feel you feel good doing. And I'm sure, like, practice is just something you did, and it's just... Mm-hmm. So then, did you come home right away? Because her service was, what was it, the next month or something?
Yeah, the next month. Yeah. It was like, I came home, I think, multiple weekends.
Okay.
I just didn't feel like being at school. and I knew I wouldn't have fun just like hanging out with people. And I wanted to be in the comfort of my home in the Allens. And then I came home for the funeral.
How were your friends like during like when you were there? Like were they
When I was at school?
Yeah, like in those weeks.
Yeah, they were really supportive. I mean, even for them, it's very unknown. They don't know how I feel. I didn't even really know how I felt myself. But they were so caring and so helpful without like saying like, we're here for you. Like
But you felt.
If you want to talk to us. Like they did my laundry when I got there. Like I probably didn't even do my own laundry for 2 months. Like like there was flowers, cards, like just little things that like I knew was them like helping me.
So it made you feel like you had people, which is so important, I think.
Yeah.
The turnout at her services was just unbelievable, right? Like so many people showed up and the line and just the stuff. And I don't know if I said this during the last one or not, but you and Sophia giving the eulogy, Brian and I were in tears but so moved. Like you got up there and you like,
I cried.
You cried, but then you got it together.
Yeah, I cried for, I don't know how long it was.
It wasn't that long.
Yeah. Because I wasn't crying.
Well, sometimes you need like a.
I think I just saw all the people and I was like, wow, like she touched a lot of people.
I mean, it was wild. It was, and you just gave such a beautiful eulogy. Did you ever watch yourself? Like, did you?
No, I wanted to. My mom's like, I don't think anyone recorded it.
Oh, Jesus.
I mean, maybe someone did, but I don't know. But I really wish.
Well, if anybody has that on record, let us know. I remember like we were sitting there and I was like, wow. And it was a testament to your friendship and your love and all of the things. And even the crying in the beginning, the fact that it would have been so easy to just say, I can't do it and sit down, you know, and you didn't. Like, it was awesome. That's something you should always carry and feel really proud of because it was just so like the mom in me is like, oh my God, that was amazing.
Yeah.
Those are weird days though, right? Like, because you can kind of get used to the idea that the person is gone, but like in limbo. Like the service, to me at least, was like a concrete end.
Yeah. I think that like needed to happen for people to fully like understand. And even myself, like I was still not getting it. Like she was gone.
Yeah. It's like a weird limbo. Like you're kind of like, I can straddle life and death here.
Yeah. And I think just seeing the amount of people that were there and like seeing that impact left me with like a positive. Okay. Like this is how many people she made an impact on and changed for the better and her story came across to. As hard as that day was, seeing that right when I was reading the eulogy, I was like, wow, I would do anything to have Olivia back. But like, she made such an impact.
And that must, like, that's your best friend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, that's cool.
Oh, Liv. It ends up being kind of a nice.
No, it was nice.
Yeah, it's nice,
first I
right?
didn't understand, and I was like, I'm celebrating everything and who she was.
And sometimes it's like you just need to be around other people.
With people she loves. Yeah.
And everyone is there for the same reason. And I think that even when you're not that inner person, like you're there because of the person that is so important to you, you know?
Exactly.
Like, you know, people talk about like the stages of grief, right? And they talk about like anger set, like all this stuff. And I kind of feel like that's all nonsense. But I feel like there's these other sort of stages of grief. And they're not really stages of grief, but stages of the process, right? Like, so there's like the denial, then there's the death, and then there's this sort of limbo, and then there's this sort of finality of it. And then there's just like life ever after, right? Like there's this getting used to this reality that is never going to be the same reality that you had. And in those days, like, were there people that you found really helpful, or were there things you found really helpful?
I think just having the Allens and knowing like we're all going through this, and I still can't imagine like how they felt, but just knowing that we have each other and like there is people in my other friend, like our close friend group, knowing like this is how everyone's feeling right now. Everyone takes it in differently and expresses it differently, but we're all going through it, and like leaning on them and my family and my parents was definitely helpful.
Were there times when you were like, and I wonder this especially like among all of your friends, like you and Liv's friends, did you feel alone even though you're surrounded by people?
Yeah. I felt really like, even not just when I was at school, sometimes when I'm at home, and I'm sure they'll be listening to this, but I'm sure they feel the same way as I do. Even though we're all going through it, it is still lonely. Sometimes we don't want to talk about Liv. Sometimes we do, but like you don't know what the other person in our friend group feels, so you don't want to just address it if it's not like the mood. So yeah, It feels lonely. And there's obviously certain things that only you relate to with Liv or, yeah.
Because they're like your memories and your things. Just because you're feeling like talking about it doesn't mean anyone else is. And you don't want to bring the mood down. But sometimes, like, I don't know. There's no magic answer to it, right?
Yeah.
But, like, I sometimes find it to be such a hard feeling to be grieving amongst others, but still feeling so freaking lonely. Like, you know.
Yeah.
Do you think, like, losing Liv has made you a different friend or a different daughter or different, like, anything? How's it changed you?
First, even just her battle with cancer has completely changed me and how I see the world and how I view friendships, relationships, other people. I just take every single day. I see the positive. The moment I wake up, I think a lot of people take their health for granted. And even I did. Athletic growing up, always cared about my sports, was a healthy kid. Even people like my parents, extended relatives, like you don't realize your health until you are unhealthy. Like even when you just have a cold, you're like, oh my God, like only if I was healthy right now. Yeah. And that's something that I completely has changed for me. And I don't ever take that for granted. There was a time I walked into Lyft at Lehigh and our trainer asked, what are you grateful for? And everyone's saying like, you know, like my breakfast this morning. And I'm like, my health. And he was like, yeah, it's so good. Like, you're not sick. But I was like, not even that. Like, there is kids and people and adults and 80-year-olds that cannot do anything right now. Yeah. They can't get out of bed. Like, that is that you have to think about sometimes. Like, it is bigger than just you.
100%.
And I think that part of her cancer has changed my perspective a lot. Pushing through things and knowing if Olivia could battle cancer for 9 months, I can go run a mile. I was running a mile, yes. I was running to the Allen's house yesterday because Melissa was bored. I thought it was 3 miles, it was 5. And so my sister had picked me up. But I was running and I had my Live Like Live shirt on and I wanted to quit. And I was like, how embarrassing would it be if someone drove by and knew me and my shirt said Live Like Live and I just start walking right now. So I ran because like those little things I think about. If she had cancer and she could do that, I can do one more thing.
Like I can keep running.
Yeah. Just in general, it makes me appreciate a lot more things and little things that my friends at school would get upset with or something. I'm just like,
that big a deal.
It's not that big of a deal. There is so much more out there. It's not that big of a deal.
I would say that is the biggest thing, like even all these years later, that sticks with me, like when you have had a big loss. And not that I'm always perfect at it, because sometimes I can make a mountain out of a molehill so quick, you know? Like it's so easy to just, like, it's not that big of a deal.
Yeah.
Like, move on. Like
sometimes,
it's okay.
like, I get angry at people at school and they're like complaining about something so small or like, oh my God.
You're like, stop it.
People are like fighting for their lives. And that's just a big example. But like even smaller things, like people have nothing.
It makes you see the inequities in all of the world. Once you see that so clearly, it's so hard not to, and you just feel everything. Like, you're going to be like a feeler forever. Like, you're going to, like, you know. And so you were talking about your health. And when what happened to Liv happened, it must have been so scary, right? And we talked about this a little in the beginning. Like, she is healthy. She is all of these things. And what the heck? Like, how does this even happen? Did you go through a stage where you were, like, convinced you had leukemia?
Yeah, Melissa definitely told you that. Okay. Was the truth. I was so tired. I exaggerated everything probably, but I was really tired. And I would text my mom every day, something's wrong with me. Something's wrong with me. Mom's like, all right, fine. I'll get you blood work. You're fine, though. I'll get you blood work.
But you're legitimately scared, right?
Yeah,
because you watched this happen.
I watched it happen to my friend. It's like, if it can happen to her, it can happen to anybody.
But you're okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I forgot what it was. Some like iron, probably.
I feel like iron. Right? It's always iron. It's always iron.
No, I convinced myself I had leukemia.
Of course you did, right? Like, do I mean, like, it's like how our mind works, right? Like, because it's like you're trying to make something unreal be real. How have you adjusted to, you know, it's shocking, right? Like, it's still probably shocking, but like, what's your day-to-day look like now with her? Like, and I know you said you get up and you appreciate. How do you process it still?
Yeah, I think I'm still figuring that out. It's different when I'm at school compared to when I'm home. Yeah. Because at home, it's like, Olivia would be here.
It's in your face.
It's in my face. And I'm like, oh my God, when we're hanging out with friends, she's not here. And I think I'm still figuring that out for sure. But I think it's just reminding myself, this is okay how I'm feeling. It's normal. She's not here. Giving myself those reminders, like I said, about like the health and not taking things for granted. Just like doing things kind of like to honor her, but also just to like be in her memory. And like, me and Sophia and I do things all the time together. My younger sister and I do things together with Sophia. Like, those things kind of like ease my way into like the grief, because those stuff would make Olivia happy.
You know where I'm going with all my questions, because
Yeah.
I was going to say, what do you think Liv's looking down? What is she most proud of you and everyone, and what is she missing the most?
I'd say what she's proud of is different probably for each person that she's close with. I think just in general, I'm sure she's so honored that the Live Like Live Foundation was created. And I think helping other kids is something that she'd be proud of at anybody, even if it was just one small thing you did for people with pediatric cancer, that would make her happy.
And with you, what is she most proud of you, you think?
I would say my relationship with Sophia. I think that was probably so hard for her to leave behind. And Sophia and I have always been close, but knowing that Sophia and I are even closer now, and that I still do things with her and act as if an older sister, even though I will never compare myself to Olivia, because that is something Sophia will always have lost. Knowing that Sophia can go to me and that I'm someone that will always be there for her, I think Olivia would be the most proud of.
I saw, Sophia's prom pictures, and I saw that you were there.
Yeah.
I'm sure of it. I'm sure that Liv is thrilled with your relationship with Sophia. It's sometimes in these moments, right? Like I wish I could sit here and be like, in X amount of time, you will feel better. You know as well as I do, that's not true. Mm-hmm. But the thing is, and I do think this is true, is that you will always feel sad for what you guys don't have. Like, you will have your big moments, right? Whatever those are. Like, I don't know if you have a boyfriend now or not, like, but you will meet people and it will suck because they won't know Liv. And it sounds like there's these moments where you're already there, like just even like in the difference from when we talked last time, like you can find joy in the memories and it's not the same and it does not bring your person back and it doesn't take away the hurt, but you can learn to live. I talk about it on the show all the time, like you can learn to live with two very different things being very true, right? Yeah. Like you can live with this big loss, but you can still have a big full life, and you find ways in which she will be there. And whether it's in those moments when you're being a big sister to Sophia, quote unquote, or whether it's rainbows or conversations or a good night's sleep or like whatever. Like I love that good night's sleep story. Like that to me. So like, whenever there's big moments, even all these years, I'm like, is Jake watching? Is he not? Like, you know what I mean? I have this like conversation in my head with what does any of it mean? When I worry that he's not there or doesn't know, it's a silly worry because he let me know that he's there. Mm-hmm. Yeah. She will always do that, I think, for you. And if Liv could hear you right now, what would you tell her?
Oh my God. Well, like you said, I'd hope that she's watching all the time and she knows what's new. Honestly, I wouldn't mention anything the last year. I would just like ask her for advice or something. Because like that part recently has been really affecting me. So like I can't go to her. Now that I'm home, like, oh my God, like I wish I could just go talk to Olivia. So I think I would just like any other conversation that we would have.
It's like I said, none of it gets easier, but it does, I mean, like it does. And I can see such a difference in you from the last time we spoke.
That's good.
I find such joy because I'm like in having these conversations and talking about our people.
So do I.
Right?
And it makes you feel good.
Makes you feel good. Sometimes it feels good to let yourself be sad and give yourself the space and these conversations bring it up. And then it feels good to have the memories too.
Yeah. And the comfort, like understanding each other.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
For those out there who are going through the same thing, for those out there who lost their best friend, what would you tell them?
I would say that the grief will never go away, and I don't think it will ever shrink. But in the last year, especially for this time of my life where I am growing a lot, it goes with me, but it comes as I grow. It won't shrink for you ever, and it will never go away. But you will continue to grow, and it will be with you. But it can turn into positives, like we talked about, doing things that make the person that you lost proud. I would say continue to do those little things, because as much as it can hurt sometimes and you don't want to do it, at the end of the day, you know that will give them comfort and that they're looking down on you and they're smiling.
I love that. Thank you so much for coming back on this show.
Thanks for having me.
No, this was awesome.
Enjoyed it.
Thank you for listening to A Place of Yes. Please follow us wherever you listen to your podcasts. If you really like this episode, please share it with a friend. It would make a world of difference if we could just reach more people and share the work that we do and the stories we want to tell. Thank you so much for watching.